great pleasure to be back here in Madrid. Very excited to see everybody here, especially after such difficult times that we in the world have been living. And what I want to do today is, first of all, both my business partner and myself, Fabrice Grinda, have been generally optimistic in nature. And we've always looked to the world with eyes of, how can we use technology to transform and make the world and the people better. And I think that continues to be what excites us every morning when we wake up and say, hey, why do we do what we do? We believe in the power of technology, and we also believe in the power of making life better by utilizing some of those means. And what I'm going to try to tell you today is why, despite being in a very difficult time of the world, why we are super excited and very optimistic about what we have to come. No? And I mean, needless to say, the world has been suffering a lot. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have lost loved ones. And that's something that has created a very, very rough dynamic. At the same time, we should always see hurdles on the way as opportunities. And there's clearly a whole bunch of things that have happened that eventually, would accelerate several trends and several situations where we can all benefit, no? Okay, so I think there's some type of delay. But anyway, the first thing I want to say on the optimistic side, in 1820, 89% of the world was living in extreme poverty, meaning that people were making less than $1.9 per day. And despite all the problems, today it's 10%. So we still have a very long way to go, but we also have to say that there's been very interesting progress. Secondly, the world seems to be a more democratic place, even though we see a lot of places that are still not. The amount of people that live under democratic regimes around the world has also increased dramatically throughout the years, to almost 4 billion, which is also a very positive thing. Life expectancy. Imagine that in 1820, the life expectancy for people was 29 years old. Today is 72. So I think this is something that is still going to change, but it's still something that is very exciting to see. And I think, helps people understand that there's progress despite a lot of the hurdles, and that the trend is positive. Literate and illiterate world population has also dropped significantly. So if we think about the 1800s, about 90% of the people were illiterate. And right now, we still have a very big challenge, but we've been able to drop as a world that to something around 15%. Having said that, and despite all these amazing trends, we still face a lot of problems. A lot of people do not have jobs, and that has been a very clear result of the situation we've been living in as well. Families have found themselves in situations where they cannot afford to rent places, and they've found a whole bunch of different resources of how to live, frankly, not the most attractive ways. In terms of the rents that people have to pay, there's been a very significant increase from 2010 to 2019, even more so now, not only about the rents that people have to pay, but also how much money do people need to spend to be able to rent a house. So these are all things that are creating, stress. I don't know why, but this is not moving. Okay, now. It's really not working, I'm sorry. Anyway, so a couple of other things. Yeah, okay, it's moving to the forward instead of backwards. Okay, good. Now it's working. Okay, so we also realize that a lot of the people with lower resources have been very dramatically penalized by the way that the financial system is working. I mean, if you take an example of some situations in the US, people that have $1,000 in their account are being charged $12 to be able to have checking and functionalities, meaning that that's at 14% of the money that they have on a yearly basis. I mean, these are all things that are hard to digest. We also see other problems like, global warming and some of the issues that is creating. Now, our thinking is, it's very hard that the world and policy can solve all these problems that I'm talking about. It's up to us, technologists, investors, and entrepreneurs to try to fix some of these things. If we think about solar, solar has become already the cheapest form of energy generation. It's cheaper than any of the other traditional means, which I think it's amazing progress. We are seeing amazing innovation, companies like Heliogen or Zero Mass, that on one side, Heliogen is providing very, very high levels of energy, even for steel production, through solar, or Zero Mass, who is, basically utilizing the solar energy to create drinking water. I mean, some of these things are, I think, very attractive. Now, amazing innovation we are seeing through technology in food. We see plant-based, innovation, and I could spend the whole presentation talking about the implications of plant versus non-plant, but I think innovation on food is also super important. Electric vehicles that are friendly to the world, we are seeing more and more of those. We are facing a lot of resistance for some of the existing, but we start to see that some of those players start to realize that the world needs to move in this direction. And amazing innovation on transportation. Companies like Archer or Lilium or Wright, that are, in the case of Wright, developing a 180-seater electric jet, delivering EasyJet in 2027. So, I mean, all of these things are amazing. Trillion Trees connects founders with forest conservation ventures to restore online trillion trees by 2050. In any case, I think all of these things show that technology is really playing a very important role in how we can live our lives better. Companies like carbon engineering or carbon capture that are helping the atmosphere deal, with carbon dioxide and cleaning up. Even processes like fusion, companies like General Fusion or Commonwealth, are also moving in the right direction, and there's capital that is flowing into those sectors. And the bottom line of this is that zero marginal cost of energy leads to amazing outcomes. And hopefully we can continue to utilize some of this innovation and technology to be able to have a better world. Now, also, how can we solve many of the social issues that we are seeing? Again, technology is playing a role. When we see innovation in housing. I mean, Rhino is a company we're invested in, and pretty much helps people that do not have the resources to put a deposit to rent a house, to be able to provide them with alternative means to do so, or Naborly that creates users' data to help people, and give tenant scores and be able to get credit. I think that's also very important. Co-living real estate, we've seen a lot of groups that are betting on that trend, where people can spend time together, where people could live in a relatively affordable way in better areas of the cities and of the places closer to work. In financing, we are seeing amazing innovation. Chime is a digital bank that has no monthly fees and no minimums, to my point before. And we also see companies like Robinhood that are providing investing services without any commission. When you look to innovation in food, there's a lot of changes. Food is becoming available through dark kitchens. There's automation through robotics that lead to amazing changes in consumer patterns. We are seeing amazing meals that can be delivered in less than 50 minutes. 50% of the meals that are being ordered could be semi or fully prepared. And that's kind of also changing the way that people can have access to some of the food. And in terms of work and what people do and like to do, we are also very optimistic. There's companies that are really supporting people be able to do what they like to do. For example, Slice, which is a discovery platform that helps pizzerias pretty much outsource everything that the cook of the pizza don't like to do. No, managing the business, getting clients, managing the back office, the admin, etc. So amazing trend also on the future of work. In medicine, doctor visits 24/7, companies like Amwell, Talkspace that are providing online therapy, also showing great innovation. Education has massive challenges, but also we are seeing some great progress. Companies like Coursera providing online classes, Check providing online tutoring, Lambda School providing availability of coding services. And then when we look to the political environment, countries like Estonia have been doing amazing use of technology. A lot of people already, 47% of the people voted online last time, 90% of the parking fees are paid via mobile. So technology is playing a key role. And tech is leading the way globally. E-commerce has been growing really dramatically through the last years, and also investment in digital health, for example, has also been growing very substantially. Now, last and not least, crypto is an amazing opportunity for fundamental equity. And just to wrap it up, we also believe that crypto is going to help people live better, and it's going to have a transformational impact in the economy. Blockchain and crypto will become mainstream, in our opinion, and have lots of applications. It will allow industries to work together, evolution of marketplaces, etc. It will also help reinvent finance from what we call traditional finance to centralized finance to decentralized finance, allowing the migration of financial instruments and payments. And lastly, to close, Web 3.0, which is very related to what me and my partner do in marketplaces, we believe is going to have a very strong impact in bringing back control to a decentralized marketplace, and users controlling their own data. We will certainly continue to see a trend of tokenization of everything, including NFTs, and other social tokens. In any case, all of this to say that we are very excited about the future, that we continue to see amazing trends and impact of technology, and that's why we get so excited about doing what we do. We want to continue supporting entrepreneurs. We want to continue doing things that have positive impact in society, in the world, and help people live better. Thank you very much.